let's talk about the dynamic of power when it comes to investing. And what I mean specifically is the dynamic of power when it comes to VCs, venture capitalists. Thanks to Twitter and TechCrunch as two examples of a few others, there's a weird imbalance, I think, when it comes to raising investment from institutional investors, venture capitalists. That imbalance sees founders on the back foot when they come to ask for money. And I think that's balanced in the wrong direction. Let me explain. As someone who's worked with VCs in multiple ways previously, and someone who's worked with founders for 10 years now and been one myself for that amount of time, and founders that have raised money from investors too, it's almost always the case that founders are expected to pitch for investment. That's a norm. Why would that be any different? We are quote unquote asking for investment. We're raising investment. It's our job to convince people that we are the best option for them to give us their money and convince them that we're going to go and change the world if they do that. And that's fair. That's a pretty normal and expected thing. But what doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that actually that balance is way more even than you might think. Now, there are other conversations here around the availability of capital and the number of ideas out there that could be funded, and I'm not going to go into those right now. This is a fairly tongue-in-cheek point I'm going to make, and so don't hold me to account for it. But what I'm hoping to get across by the end of this next minute or two is that founders should be more confident when pitching investors for these reasons. And the reasons are this. Institutional investors are money managers. Most of the time they're not managing their own money. Granted, they'll be putting a bit of their own in generally, but most of the time they're managing somebody else or other organizations' money, and much more, people that have much more money than they have. Their job is to invest that money. They get paid a percentage to manage that money and invest it in the best things they possibly can find, because the people that have given them that money are too busy or don't have access to those kinds of opportunities. A venture capitalist's job is to find ventures to put capital into, and then companies will pay them a percentage for that, and it might be around 2% per year of the amount that they've given them. Now, that then suggests that a VC, an institution, has to invest that money. If they don't, they're not doing their job. If I'm a pension fund or a really, really rich person and I give someone money and say, hey, go and invest that, and they don't, they just sit on that money, then I might as well put it somewhere else. I might as well put it into a savings account or whatever it is that organizations that have that much money do with it. So that says that an institution has to invest that money. It's fairly logical to assume that that institution is going to invest at a fairly regular cadence, because they're not going to invest it all up front in one go in multiple companies or a huge amount in one company, because that's high risk and they want to lower the risk where they can. It's inherently high risk to do what they're doing anyway, so they want to diversify that where possible. They're also not going to be waiting forever for the perfect thing to cross their desk, because they don't know what the perfect thing is. If they did, then it wouldn't be available for investing because everybody would be wanting to put money into it. So that suggests that they're going to probably be investing at a fairly regular cadence. Maybe one deal a month, every month for a year, perhaps 12 deals in a year, 100 grand a time, or £1 million a time, 1.2 million fund, 12 million fund, whatever it might be. So let's assume they're going to put in one deal, they're going to invest into one company, one deal per month for a year. Might be on the low side for some VCs, but that is a possibility. If that's the case, then you're going to be one of the things they see that month. And if they have to, by definition of managing the money and needing to distribute that capital on behalf of other people, otherwise not doing their job, if they have to invest that money that month, then it stands to reason that you don't have to be necessarily the best thing they've ever seen. You just have to be the least shit thing they've seen that month. And I'm not giving you permission here to go to a VC and say that to them, because it won't play out very well. And I'm not suggesting that you just build something that's just about okay enough to get capital. You should still be trying to build the best thing that you've ever built in the best way that you can for the world that needs it and the customers that need it, and trying to convince people that you are doing that and believing in yourself that you are doing that too. But hopefully that can add a little edge of confidence when you rock up to an investor's room, to know that actually they're not needing you to be the best business that's ever existed. They need you to be the best thing out of the things they've seen that month or that week, depending on how often they're investing. And then finally, you add on to that whole equation the fact that you actually hold more power than you think. That already gives you a bit more power back. That imbalance is starting to get a bit more balanced. But actually, these people are investing in the companies that they believe to provide the highest ROI. They're investing in a high-risk asset class. You're a startup. You are statistically likely to fail. And so if they're investing in you, it's because they believe that you are going to provide them the best chance of delivering a return. Now, unit economics of a fund do play into this. And if you want to learn more about those, I highly recommend you read the blog that Matt Pennycard of Ada Ventures has written on Medium. Give it a little Google. I'll try and put it in the description below. But if you represent the best chance of an ROI on somebody's money that they're ever going to see, and they start to consider investing in you because of that, then again, tongue-in-cheek, but doesn't it suggest that they should be pitching to invest in your company? If their job is to get a return on other people's money for them, and you have the best opportunity for them to do that, then surely they should be trying to fight to get into your round, not you pitching them to give you their money. Just two little things that hopefully start to rebalance the imbalance in startups pitching to venture capitalists and try and make it a little bit more of a level playing field. This is more of a thought experiment than anything else. None of this is necessarily verbatim. As I say, do not go into a VC's room and tell them that they need to invest in you that month and that you are definitely going to give them the highest return on investment they're ever going to see. You need to be making sure that you're making promises you can deliver on, and sure, making them excited, but also making sure that you're not acting like a douchebag, frankly. But hopefully that gives you a little bit more confidence to be able to make that pitch in a confident way and convince people to give you the capital you need to go and build the next big thing. And then go and do it, frankly. We've seen over the last couple of years people raising money on the basis of them going to build the next big thing and not doing that. And not doing that necessarily on purpose. You only need to look at articles about what happened to FTX and SBF to see, where the line is drawn between reality and fraud in the world of startups. So please do not cross that line. Stay the right side of the line, build incredible companies, and hopefully use some of this advice to give you a little bit of a better chance of raising some money, if that's indeed what you're going to go and do. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully not too controversial. Hopefully not too many cats amongst the pigeons here. But let me know what you think. And obviously I'm producing more videos all the time on an ad hoc basis. So no idea when the next one will be live. And on that basis, you should probably subscribe, click the bell so that you're registered for notifications, so that when I do post again, you'll know that it happens. Until then, stay good, do good, and I will see you guys in the next video.